your dad's death. Explain the situation that led to him unexpectedly passing.
The situation was, so he used to do online share trading, and that was something that became quite a big thing back then when in 2006 when he started doing it. And then, as I said, the business side of things wasn't doing well for my brother. The house was on rent, and then his online share trading account suddenly crashed. So one transaction went really bad, and all the transactions that he'd done before that and whatever he had accumulated sort of went down in a go. So he really the amount of stress it brought onto him mentally was huge. So he had a stroke, he had a clot form in his brain. I didn't know it because I was playing my first season and I was at practice, and I was coming back from practice, and I reached the house, and then my cousin's sister was there, and I asked her where everyone is, and she's like, no, they've just gone for a regular checkup. I was like, why would everyone in the house go for a regular checkup? This doesn't seem right. Why is she the only one sitting at home? So I asked her where they are. She told me they're at this place, and I was like, take me there. So we went there, and then I saw him, you know, in a situation that I'd never seen him before. And because it was a stroke in the brain, he wasn't able to react in a normal manner. You know, his body was moving in a funny way, and he was not able to figure out where he is, like the way he looked at people as well. It was like he lost total sense of what's going on. So I saw him like that, and then they took him to the operation theater, and then it was a very difficult time because they did the operation, then he came back home, and then he was in rehab, but I saw him, left side of his body got paralyzed, left side vision also got compromised, and he was just not able to communicate that well, even with the family members anymore, and you know, couldn't do anything by himself. People had to pick him up and take him to the toilet, and there he was, a self-made man. You know, he would just, in the house, if something went wrong, he wouldn't call anyone. He would just open the socket, the electric socket, and just start fixing things himself. So he was that self-made, and he wasn't dependent on anyone. So for a person like that to go through that, he couldn't handle it after a while, and then eventually after a couple of weeks of rehab, he got a cardiac arrest.
And you were there?
I was batting actually. I was playing a game, and we were playing one of these 4-day games, which used to happen at the first class level, and I was supposed to resume batting the next day. And this happened around 2:30 or 3 in the morning, and we all woke up and we had no idea what to do, and he was gone by the time we woke up, and I literally saw him take his last breath in front of me, and I tried to pump his chest and all that, nothing worked. And then there were a few doctors around in that area that we lived in. We went to their place. No one opened the door because it was 3 in the morning. We couldn't get any response, and then we drove him to the hospital. But by the time they tried electric shocks and everything, all those kind of things, but nothing worked. He couldn't recover at all. So my sister and my brother and my mother, they all broke down, and funnily enough, I couldn't cry at all. There was no emotion coming out of me, and I just became blank. I couldn't register what just happened.
Why do you think that was?
I have no idea. Till date, I can't understand. And I was feeling like I was myself thinking, why am I not able to cry? And then I think it was all building up inside me. So when we came back, and everyone, all the relatives came in to sort of, you know, pay their condolences and stuff like that. And then I called my coach in the morning, and I told him what had happened. And then he asked me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go and play. So he said, are you sure? And I was like...
Because you had a game that day.
Yeah, and for me, leaving a cricket match was something which was not acceptable, regardless of what happened in life. Not going to a match was not an option I ever had, or I couldn't register that option in my mind. So I said, I'm going to go. And he said, okay, if that's your decision, go ahead. So I left the house. I hadn't cried at all, nothing, no emotion. And my family was actually feeling a bit nervous looking at me because I was showing no emotion, and everyone was like, you know, crying, and they were emotional. And then I went to the game, and I picked up a friend of mine again, and I told him what had happened. He thought I was joking. He didn't believe me. We kept going. We reached the stadium, and when we reached the stadium and I sat in the change room, and he told everyone what had happened. So when everyone came around me to tell me, we're sorry for you, and that's the time I really broke down, and that's the time all that emotion came out, and I don't know why.
The strangest part of the whole story to me was that night when you called your coach back and you were upset. He was surprised that you weren't upset about what he would have thought it was about. You were upset about your performance in the game.
I was upset because I was the umpire in the game made a wrong decision, and he gave me out when I wasn't out. And I was upset because I couldn't be there till the end to make my team win the game. And I was really upset about that. So yeah, in the evening he was surprised to know that I was actually talking about that.
Especially now, many years removed from having gone through that, how do you think your father's passing affected you?
Now I feel like it was probably the most impactful thing that happened in my life. Because I remember that day, I came back from the game. After I got out, I came back to do the cremation and all the rituals that follow. And I remember telling my brother specifically that I am going to play for my country, and I am going to play this game at the highest level, and there's nothing else in life that can distract me anymore. Because it was my father's vision as well. He wanted me to play at the highest level, and he was really, really keen on me playing at the highest level as well. So I remember making that promise to my brother, and then everything in life became second priority after that incident, and cricket was the first priority.
Yet it wasn't immediate that the success came
No.
after that, right? I mean, you kind of for a couple-year period of time started struggling. In what ways did you begin to get careless off the field?
So the thing is that the incident happens in your life and then you move on with it. You don't know the kind of motivation it registers in your heart. I always knew that nothing else can distract me from achieving my goal, but the immediate distractions were too many. Traveling to other countries, going out regularly, having drinks with friends, and just not being that focused. But the one thing that remained constant was every time I was down, every time I hit rock bottom, somehow I was able to put everything aside and say, right, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get back up. So it's not like I made a promise that I'm never going to fall down. Obviously I was going to fall down. That's life. That is always going to happen in sport and life. But the ability to come back again and again made me realize that that incident was the one incident that helped me become mentally so strong that I could, even if I was distracted, because I'm human, I will make mistakes. But the ability to come back up became so much more stronger. And right now I feel so grateful that I could get that strength from such a bad time in my life as well.